Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Adam. Adam is from Boston in the USA. So let's see what Adam has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Hi there.
Hello, Adam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for taking the time for the interview today. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for
I,
having me.
I love your shirt, actually. I like the color.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been recently getting into thrifting a lot, so I've been finding some cool clothes.
Amazing. So how's your morning going so far?
It's going pretty well. It's just right after Thanksgiving, so I'm just trying to fully mentally check out and just relax. So it's been very nice and relaxing, thankfully. Yeah.
So tell me, how was your Thanksgiving celebration?
Sure. I mean, unfortunately, it was a little boring. It didn't end up going home or anything. My family all lives in different parts of the country, so it was just me alone. I just made biscuits and gravy, and again had a very relaxing night. So nothing too crazy.
When you think about Thanksgiving, what's the best memory that comes to your mind?
Hmm. I feel like so back a long time ago, when I was younger, we would always go to my mom's family's house, like my grandpa's house on my mom's side, and there was always like this parade that would happen in town, and I think that I remember they had like Clydesdale horses or something, so it was really cool to like watch all the horses go by. Something about that parade, I don't know, probably that, I would say.
I think those special celebration holidays, they are the best memory comes when we are children, don't they? It's like they're the best. When you are a child, I think you have a different way of seeing those holidays.
Yeah, I would agree.
Adam, tell me where you're from.
Yeah, so I'm living right now in Boston, Massachusetts in the US, but I'm originally from the north suburbs of Chicago in Illinois in the US as well. So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow. And why the move from Chicago to Boston?
Yeah, through college, I interned in a bunch of different places, and the place that stuck, I got a job offer for a company based out of southern New Hampshire, actually. So that kind of cemented me living in Boston to try to still be in the city and commute up. And then I've been here ever since.
How long have you been living there for?
Yeah, not too long. I think it's been about 4 years off and on. So, like I said, I've been here while I was interning. So I would stay here and then go back home or go back to school and then come back. But I think for about like 2.5 years solid here. Yeah.
I see. And do you see yourself living there for a long while?
I think so. I have a really great group of friends. I feel like I'm finally starting to put down roots here, and I do really like Boston. It's not as crazy and big as like in New York or like London or anything, but I think that it's manageable. You can walk everywhere. It's pretty nice, and it's also close to a lot of stuff as well. So like it's very close to New York, it's close to DC, and a lot of nature as well. So I think it's a nice place. Yeah.
I've been there in 2016. Actually, the last time I went to the US was in Boston. So I spent some time. We went as well to Provincetown.
Yeah.
It was the gayest place I ever been. My goodness, what an amazing place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I remember walking in Boston, actually. There was this, I think, Red Sox or something like that, the baseball. It's Red Sox, isn't it?
I think so. To be honest, I don't know. I don't care about sports in any way. So your guess is as good as mine, to be honest. I think it is though. I think you're right.
Yeah, something like that. I remember walking there and take some pictures like, oh my goodness, that's amazing to be here. And it was good weather as well at the time. So yeah, I have good memories from Boston. And what do you do for a living, Adam?
Yeah, so right now I'm a senior industrial designer for a design consulting firm. So basically industrial design, because I know not everybody knows what that is. It's not an artist and it's not an architect. I don't design factories. It's basically designing any product. So it can be anything from like a chair to like a phone to a medical device. And so what we do is we design the user generally how it works. So not to the level of like an engineer, but kind of more on the user experience side. So like, where are we putting buttons? How high does a screen need to be in order to be used? That sort of stuff. And then also the aesthetics of it for oftentimes. So like how it looks, what emotion should it convey to the user, etc. So that's kind of like a very high level explanation of it, but can go into the minutia if need be.
I see. And what do you like the most about your job?
Yeah, so this is actually a new job that I just got in April. I really like the variety of work that I get to work on. So this is my second project that I've worked on. Both of them have been really big systems, which is pretty cool. So very complicated, and they're kind of pushing me outside of my comfort zone of industrial design, where I'm used to working on things that are much smaller. So really pushing me outside my comfort zone, and just every project is something radically different. So I think that that's probably what I like about it the most. Yeah, and also, I mean, it's mostly remote, which is pretty great as well. So I get to work from home. This is my desk setup, so pretty nice for that as well.
I'm sure in this field, every day is different. There's always something different to do or to approach or to result or to work on it. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, it really depends, because industrial design is pretty wide reaching. So you can do anything from the very early stages where a client can come to you and say, like, we have this idea for a technology, but we have no idea what it's supposed to look like, how a user is supposed to interact with it. We have no idea. So you can be all the way at that end, where you're coming up with the lowest level of like what this thing is, all the way through the development to like manufacturing, to make sure that two parts that are coming together line up correctly, or that the finish on like a certain texture is just perfect. You can go all the way to that end. So it really just depends on what project you're working on, what your client is, and what stage you're kind of brought in. So yeah, it's always something different, which is pretty cool. Doesn't often get boring, which is nice.
Amazing. Adam, before we start our journey, William the Magic Box, would you like to tell me something interesting about yourself?
Ooh, sure. Probably one of the most interesting things is, I don't know if you can see this big scar. I 2 years ago, I think at this point, like pretty close to the beginning of the lockdown from COVID pandemic, I got a flesh-eating bacterial infection, and almost lost my arm and almost died, but ended up getting a skin graft and making a full recovery. So that's probably one of the most interesting things about me, I would say.
Oh, God. And now you're fully recovered.
Yeah, fully recovered. We're all good. I don't have any feeling in this area, but other than that, I just have a kind of a cool scar and a very traumatic month-long stay for a story. So,
wow. And how did you find out that you had that? Was something that suddenly, or you kind of had some symptoms before?
It was pretty sudden. So the thing, not to spook anyone, it's very rare for this to happen. But basically, you can have any break in your skin to allow for the bacteria to come in. So that can be as simple as dry skin, which is I think what I had, or a bug bite maybe. And then really just my elbow started to swell up and was a little painful. I thought that I had just bruised it or something. And then over the next like 2 days, I started, getting feverish and fainting and all sorts of stuff. And I had gone to the hospital beforehand and they thought it was just a simple infection. But yeah, it was a pretty quick lead up. And then I was admitted to the ER, and then there was emergency surgery, and then a month-long stay in the hospital just to make sure that I could have all the surgeries I needed. So
Wow.
very quick start and a very long recovery process. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, sometimes life just, take us on these challenge journeys that you're not expecting, just sudden like that. But anyway, I think it's always good to share those experiences as well, because you never know. Some people, they might be facing a similar experience, and just hear someone talking about that. So, like now you can talk. I'm sure it wasn't easy for you, but now you just can talk, and I think you might be helping some people around. You never know.
I hope so.
Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Yes, I'm ready.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend, okay? Okay, full of random questions. I'm gonna play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question. Let's do it. Okay, Adam, before we start the game, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Cool.
Right, first question for you is, which movie had a big influence on you?
Oh man, I think recently it was Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think that's what it's called. Really good just to... I'm somebody who really, I always think that the pasture is always greener on the other side. I'm always like worried about my life not being as good as it could be. And I think that was a really nice perspective shift where they kind of just say like, doesn't matter, you're living the life that you're living and be grateful for what it is. And so I think since I've seen that, I've tried to work that into my life a little bit more, and just to be a little bit more chill and thankful for what I have currently. Still looking towards the future, but being a little less anxious about it. So I'd say that. Very good movie.
Yeah. It's something that just came out as a new movie, or is something?
Yeah, I think the studio is called A24. I think it came out like early this year or something. It's really, really good. I think you can buy it on streaming services. Like, I think one of the best movies I've ever seen. Really good.
Do you watch movies very often?
Yeah. Yes. Watched 2 yesterday. Yes.
Good one. Next question. Let's do it. Hey, Adam from Boston. Next question is, what gives you butterflies?
I feel like probably when somebody gives me like an unsolicited compliment. That's kind of nice in public. That's pretty nice, because it's hard. It's easy to be hard on yourself, and then when somebody unprompted comes up to you and gives you a compliment, it feels good. Yeah.
Wow. And saying that, what's the most common compliment that people come up to you?
I mean, just coming up to me like randomly would be generally like my outfit that I'm wearing. That's like, if it's through like a dating app or something, that's fully different. But I would say out in public randomly, usually the outfit that I have on. Yeah.
Funny saying that, because when you start the interview, straight away spots your shirt, you see?
I've been trying for the past year to really up my style game, and so I've bought some cool pieces that are all like thrifted. So it's very one of a kind, and I've started to go for this like retro 60s and 70s look mostly. So it's I try to be unique with it as much as I can.
Easy. Very good. Next question. Let's do it. Right, before the next question, tell me what's the biggest similarity and the biggest difference between Chicago and Boston, in your opinion?
Okay. Biggest similarity. I feel like it's kind of the climate. Like I feel like it's very similar. Well, honestly, also like the water. I know that Lake Michigan is not the same, obviously, as the ocean, but I feel like it has the same like interaction with the city as does in Chicago. So like a lot of boating, and a lot of people are really just loving the water. So I think that that's a little bit of a similarity, and it's always cold and sad here in the winters as well. So that's a similarity. The biggest difference, I feel like it's like the scale. Everything here is so much smaller. Like I will say that also I haven't been back to Chicago itself for a while. And so maybe my recollections are skewed by me being younger, but I always feel like Chicago, everything was massive, like the huge skyscrapers, and feeling like you could get lost in the city because it's so huge. Whereas here, it's like, I feel like I've basically walked around every single part of Boston at this point. Not that I've gone into every restaurant and every shop, but I feel like it's a lot smaller. It's a lot quainter. Yeah.
All right. Next question for you is, what things do you consider to be relationship deal breakers?
Oh man. I think lack of communication. So definitely when somebody is not able to express their emotions, their displeasure, if they bottle anything up, if there's a certain compromise that needs to be made and they're not able to communicate what they want, that's definitely a deal breaker. That's a big one. And I don't know, there's so many. Drug use, that's another one. There's a lot.
And saying that, how is, in your opinion, do you think in a city like Boston, is easy to have a relationship, to maintain a relationship, or it's like those, the things about big cities where, easy sex, people can, just look for the next one. There is this vibe that in Boston, or do you think that if you really want to, you can literally maintain a long-term relationship? I believe you're gay, yeah? As in a gay scene, yeah? So
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
I feel like a lot of people can. I'm not currently in a relationship, and not really looking for a relationship, to be honest. So I don't really have like the greatest perspective on dating, although I have in the past few years. But I know a lot of people who are in really great relationships. I think that Boston is which again, I haven't really experienced too many other cities as like a full-fledged independent adult, so I don't know if this is true, but I feel like Boston is very cliquey. And so like, it's really hard to break into friend groups. And then if you don't know the friends, you can't really talk to one particular person. So I think that might be a little hard. I feel like it's harder to find people to date, less hard once you have somebody who you found. Because I know a lot of people who have found really great partners and have stuck with them. So I would say that.
I like this expression. When you say clique, it means like they have their own tribes, and they kind of, is it difficult for you to get into their tribes as well? You mean that's what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like not to call them out, but there's an area in Boston, like a neighborhood called Dorchester, which is kind of in the south of Boston. And there are two gay bars there. And it's pretty far outside of Boston proper, which is like the main center of the city. And the Dorchester gays are, in my opinion, the clickiest because they all live there and they go to those two bars almost exclusively. And there are a lot of gay people who live there and also a lot of like younger gay people who live there. So they would be potential dating partners, but they only talk to themselves and they never leave Dorchester. So it's
Wow.
a little weird. That's what I'm talking about with the clickiness.
So it means if I would go for a drink there tonight, I would be like left over on the side. Nobody would come talk to me.
Yeah, it's not the greatest environment all the time. Not to say that all of them are like that, but I think it happens more often there. Yeah.
I understand. I think everywhere, big city, there's always a place where people they, somehow they just include themselves in this bubble that, in a way, it's just pointless because you are just blocking yourself of, get to see more interesting things or be more open-minded. Anyway, I'll keep that in mind, okay, when I come to Boston next time.
There you go.
Next question. Right, the next question is, what bores you?
Honestly, a lot of things. What bores me? Oh man, I feel like any sort of household chore, I think really bores me. Specifically, probably folding laundry or just doing laundry in general. That's probably one of the most boring things that I can imagine doing, just because it takes so long. And you have to, especially if you don't have washer and dryer in unit, like I don't, then you need to sit there and wait for all of your clothes to be done so that you can get them so that nobody like has to take your clothes out of the dryer or whatever. So you have to sit and wait for hours. And then you have to go through the process of folding every single piece of clothing and then putting it away. And that's just probably the most boring thing that I can imagine.
And saying that, this is your least favorite chore?
Yeah, I would say probably is laundry. That or like doing the dishes, although I have a dishwasher, so that makes it easier.
Funny. Ready for another one?
Yes.
Let's do it. Next question. Adam, before the next question, tell me, when was the moment that you start your passion about design, like industrial design? There was a moment, or like through your life, you kind of had this direction?
Yeah, so I didn't know what industrial design was, as I'm sure most people don't know what it is, all the way through most of high school. And then I'm not sure, it's contested with my mom, but I think my mom thinks that she found out what industrial design was. I think it was my guidance counselor in high school who found it. And basically it seemed like it was the perfect combination of performance, which I was big into in high school, like theater, because you have to pitch your ideas, art, because you have to sketch and draw and be creative, and also STEM, because you have to do problem solving and kind of science and math to get the correct answer and solve people's problems. So it was like the best combo of all of those. So either my mom or my guidance counselor kind of brought it to me. And I think ever since then, I was kind of obsessed. Definitely the novelty of it has worn off and now it's my job. So I'm not obsessed about industrial design anymore. But basically right when I found out what it was, I started to try to like learn how to sketch like an industrial designer. And so I immediately started doing drawings and trying to do my own little projects, all that sort of stuff. And then that continued all the way through, I want to say, my third or fourth year of college. And then it finally sunk in that it was a job. And then I lost a little bit of my enthusiasm for it. Still great, but.
Saying that, what's the most challenging part of being an industrial designer in your opinion? If there is any?
Yeah, honestly, well, for me, so I feel like I am really good at coming up with ideas. So I can come up with like a billion ideas, which I think it depends on the industrial designer, but I do think that that is kind of a hallmark of industrial designers is that we can spitball and what's called ideate and come up with a bunch of ideas. But I think for me, one of the harder parts is being able to take all of those ideas and to sort through them and to filter them down, whether it's which one looks the best or which is the best solution for this particular user or which one is the most cost effective. It's really important to be able to take all of those ideas and filter them down so you get the best. And that's, I think, really hard to do, especially with aesthetics, because especially when the client doesn't know anything about what they want their product to look like, they're not giving you any feedback. And so then you as the designer have to just decide what looks good, which is really tough in my opinion. So I would say narrowing down the scope of your ideas is probably the hardest.
Next question for you is, who is the most influential person in your life?
Oh boy. I would probably have to say my parents. My dad, I think, really made me the funny person that I am, which I think has gotten me far in like my personal life. I really think that I'm rather goofy when I'm not, I guess maybe not in an interview setting, but I feel like I'm very goofy and funny. So I really attribute that to my dad. And for my mom, I think I really got my creative side. She always was bringing me to like art museums. And I think that that really kindled my interest in design and my interest in aesthetics and really helped me in my career path as well. And also just great life advice from both of them. And I think it's really allowed me to become a successful 24-year-old living on my own. Yeah.
Wow. And do you have siblings as well?
Nope, only childs. So I got all the attention, which was great and also a curse.
As a child, did you wish to have a sibling, a brother or a sister, or be something that you never thought about?
Yeah, I didn't think about it far like way too much just because I had friends, so it was fine. But sometimes, like especially actually now being older, I do kind of wish that I had a sibling, just somebody maybe to vent about family stuff with, to be able to talk through stuff with. That's kind of inside the family. I think it would be nice, but at least growing up wasn't really that much of an issue because I saw everybody else's toxic sibling relationships. So I felt that I was spared from it.
Interesting. Next one, let's do it, Adam. Okay, next question is, what would be our ideal day?
Oh man, ideal date. I don't know. So to be honest, being out, like trying to actively not date like I am right now, just to work on myself. That's kind of what I'm doing at the moment. I feel like I've lost a little perspective on that, but being a little reflective, I could tell you the things that I don't like on dates, which is I'm not a big fan of a movie date because you can't talk. And that's a great one if I don't want to talk to the person. That one's great. I'm also not the biggest fan of like a dinner. I just feel like it's very formal. There's no way to like get out of it. There's all sorts of other extenuating circumstances that surround it. So I feel like probably a good date for me would be something a little less traditional, maybe like a picnic or going to a museum or something like that, where there's a topic of conversation. It's not necessarily having to spend money and it's more isolated, so it's not in somewhere busy potentially. I don't know. I think something more out of the box is probably best for me.
One person to go on a date with you, what this person must have and must not have.
Oh man. I feel like I don't really have like a must not have, I don't think. I mean, I've already talked about a red flag is just lack of communication. So I really just think probably the most important thing is just have stuff to talk about, because I've been on dates with people where it's like pulling teeth to try to prop up the conversation. They don't know how to they don't know how to ask good questions like you're able to. So it's just really draining to have to keep the conversation going. And again, specifically when you're going out to like dinner or something, you have to sit through the whole meal. And so then there's no escape as you're trying to prop up the conversation. So I think that that's probably one of the most important things, is to have something to talk about. Doesn't matter what, just something. It's probably the most important thing.
It's funny saying that. Actually, a long time ago, actually didn't see as a date, but I invite I was talking to this guy for a while, and I don't know, because I love going to see a movie in the cinema. I love cinema, and I just told him, oh, let's go to the cinema to see a movie. And actually he came to see, and after, when I realized afterward that literally we didn't talk, I felt so bad afterwards, but it came from a good intention, because believe it or not, I'm very shy, and I just found something that I like doing. It's not that maybe it's gonna make me relax about it. Yeah. But I didn't realize, and actually I was like, oh my god, during the movie I was like, oh, that's when I realized, when I clicked in, I was like, okay, it wasn't a good idea. Anyway, never happened anymore. I never kind of suggest a movie to see on a very first date. And I had a guest on the show as well, and he said something like you. He said, when I go on a first date, I never do dinner, because it's a very difficult way to get out of it, because you started, you go through, and it's like it's not happening, and the meal you're gonna eat as well, and it can be a torture in the end of the day. So coffee, a walk, you know what I mean? There's always something that you can click, and I think walk in a park, or I think being outdoors, you can feel the vibe of the person, you know what I mean? And I think when you need to sit down, spend some time together, it can be a risk.
I agree.
Never go to the cinema the first date, never.
Fully agreed. I will also caution against the walk, because I have done that one before. Right. A walk with no destination in mind. And it's also very hard to escape from that, because you're just walking around trying desperately to like give them the hint that you're done, and you don't want to be like, okay, I'm going home now. So I think that that's also a dangerous one. You need to have like a destination in mind, or some sort of end in mind, in my opinion.
The thing is, when you go for a walk, if you see that's not working out, the first coffee shop to say, oh, let's sit down for a quick coffee or something like that. You know what I mean? You just need to play with your mind. but if it's working well, you just keep walking until you see like a nice place that you can have a proper drink or something, and after maybe you can go for a meal, depending how the thing goes. My God, we are giving a lot of like tips for people who go on a date, you see?
There you go.
3 questions left for you. Let's do it. Next question for you is, who are you most thankful for and why?
Well, I think, okay, difficult question. I definitely think, I don't want to repeat my answer. So obviously I can say like my parents, because they've given me so much. Mm-hmm. I can also say my friends here. It's not one particular person in particular, although Jeff, my friend Jeff here gets a shout out, because he was kind of like the first real friend that I had here and really allowed me to explore Boston. So that's one person in particular. But I've also been trying to be more thankful for myself as well. I've been trying to work on myself, be more self-confident, all that sort of stuff. So I've tried to be, sounds cheesy and it sounds self-serving, but I've tried to be more thankful of myself, you know, my body, the way that I speak, all that sort of stuff, and just be thankful for what I have and to not be so hard on myself. But yeah, a little bit of a weird answer, and I swear I'm not that full of myself.
I literally love your answer actually, because you're just being honest with yourself. You know what I mean? You just improve and work on you. And why not be thankful to you because of that? You know, it's just work in progress, improvement. Why not? Should be grateful for always.
Okay.
2 questions left. Let's do it. Look at you, get in the mood.
There you go.
Adam, before the next question, tell me how was growing up as a gay boy back in Chicago, and also being the only child. You know what I mean? Sometimes as a, you know, as a boy, a male, when you were born, there's some pressure, let's say, under our shoulders. You know what I mean? Being the only child as well, for sure, there may be more expectations. Of course, there are no rules, but you know, the society sometimes impose those things that people, families, they embrace it or they follow. And anyway, for you, how was your experience as a gay boy growing up?
Yeah, actually, I know that this is probably, I'm hopeful that it's becoming more common, but I think it was actually pretty great. Obviously, it wasn't always spectacular, but I was very lucky to live somewhere that was pretty liberal, at least socially. So I actually don't think that I was ever bullied as a kid, which is kind of crazy. I have not always been as maybe like flamboyant or comfortable in myself as I am now, where I feel like if you saw me walking down the street, you probably know that I was gay. But back then, you might not have known. So that might have helped me. But honestly, it was great. And I also have to say that my parents are amazing. I always see, you know, crazy masculine dads who want their boy to do football or whatever. It's not how my dad was at all. Super supportive. He's a musician, so just allowed me to do theater, allowed me to do art, anything that I wanted. And my mom was also really supportive in all of my endeavors. So I never really felt like unsafe at home. And even when I eventually did come out in high school, which this is always the answer that, you know, you never want to get, but it's fine. When I told my mom that I was gay, she said, "Yeah, we thought so," which is very funny. But so I think it was great. I had a good support structure, and I also do think that I probably had some advantage for just being kind of straight passing before I've, you know, amped it up a little bit, but I think that helped it. But my family was always supportive, and I think that the community was really supportive as well.
Yeah. The day when you came out, did something happen, or just felt like, okay, I'm just gonna talk about now, I'm gonna open up? Did something special or happen to you at the time?
No, honestly, well, this is a two-parter. So no, not really anything special. I came out to just a friend first, just told them, I think through text, and they were obviously fine with it. Then I came out to my mom. She literally I was watching TV one day. She sat down on the couch in front of me, blocking the TV, and just randomly started the conversation by asking if I liked any girls at school or anything. Just very pointed, very random conversation. And so then I told her, probably in these exact words, "Mom, you know I'm gay, right?" And then it was, yeah, we kind of knew. So that was my second coming out experience, which was fine. And then she told my dad and it was fine. And then my third most embarrassing coming out experience was I wanted to get it all over with all my friends. And so I hosted a party at my house, at my childhood home. And I labeled it as a party with a special surprise or something like that, something really cringy and stupid. And then I gathered everyone together and I forget what I said, but I told them all. And then they all hugged me, which very sweet and very nice. And I think very efficient on my part that I just got it out of the way and then I never came out again. Like if anybody asked me, I would tell them, but it was very efficient. And then, although looking back on it, that's one of the most embarrassing things I could ever imagine anyone doing. So there you go.
Oh my God, I don't think it's embarrassing at all. I think it's very creative. My goodness, what an amazing idea. Wow. Host a party where I'm gonna literally come out.
I guess. I don't know. I've told many people about it and they also find it very embarrassing. But again, I think it was efficient. I didn't need to like tell 30 people over and over again that I was gay.
I
Just
love
told,
it.
like 20 people and then the info spread. Yeah.
I love it. Oh my goodness, such a good idea, actually. Imagine just to, as you said, just put it out, like so everyone can know at the same time and they make their own judgments, Imagine half of the party can go or half the party can be just clapping or just cheering up. Imagine.
There you go.
I love it. Next question is, I think this is gonna be easy for you. Let's see. If you could spend the entire day with a family member, who that would be and why?
So honestly, this person is no longer alive, sadly. My grandma on my mom's side, I would probably say that. I didn't know her very well because she died when I was pretty young. But from all the stories that I've heard of her, I just really wish that I knew her better when I was my fully formed person. I always heard that she was a teacher. She was an incredibly independent and well-educated woman back when that was not really the priority for most women. And she really helped so many people in kind of a small, pretty racist town in Southern Illinois. And she really helped a lot of different people as much as she could. So I think that would be somebody who I would really want to meet again and have a real conversation as the person I am now. Because I think that she would have a lot of insight, and I think that she would be very proud of who I am to this day. I would say that.
Wow. And I'm sure whatever she is right now, she's smiling, knowing that you have this.
I'm actually, this is actually, I forgot that I was wearing this. This is actually her chain. I'm sure that she wore it in a very different way than I wear it. But I actually recently found this again after she died. My mom and her sisters took all of her stuff and like divvied it up and allowed me to like choose a few things. And so I've had this for a really long time, and I've recently started wearing it, and I wear it like almost every day. Just to think. Obviously, it looks cool, but to think about her as well. Yeah.
Beautiful, 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 Adam. Ready for the last question?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Last one. Before the last question, people watching the interview, would you like to start a career or go to university as an industrial designer? What would be your best piece of advice?
Oh God. Don't. Just kidding. No, I would say if you're going into it, I would say try to do as much stuff outside of industrial design as possible, because there are there are industrial designers who are good at doing industrial design. I think that's something that's not easy, but it's possible to learn. Shout out to University of Cincinnati. They have a really great program of kind of taking you from the ground level and building you up. But I think that what really sets an industrial designer apart is their knowledge outside of just how to do industrial design. It's maybe you're really interested in like medicine, and so you really want to go into medical design, or maybe you're really into like fine art, and so then you really bring that lens into your industrial design skills, and it's just stuff that will differentiate you in the future, and then also will not make you go crazy if all you're doing is like analyzing surface contours on like a random product that you find. It's good to have balance and separation from that. Yeah.
All right. Last question for you is, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Oh my. Hopefully with a raise. A raise or two. I don't know. I feel like I see myself on the East Coast still. I like it here a lot. I think I see myself as a more confident person, as a less anxious person. Yeah, just trying to continue to enjoy my work-life balance, to improve my life outside of work, developing hobbies, that sort of stuff. I think I just see myself as a more fully fledged person. I don't know. I don't have any, I'm at the point in life where there's not really any more like big milestones, which is kind of weird. So I guess I need to do some more introspection to really put some out there so that I can target them. But I hope I'm a better person, and I hope that I have a better life.
Interesting you say about confidence. You come across like a very confident person.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It depends. It depends. When I'm just being asked questions about myself, then that's fine. I think when it comes to trying to make the conversation, I start to really second guess myself. It also, I mean, you asked me to be on this, so that helps as well. Whereas if I'm just talking to somebody out in public, they're not asking me for an interview. So it's a little harder, and I get anxious about things, but I've come a long way, so I appreciate it. I appreciate that it seems like I'm very confident.
You do, actually, the way you talk as well, the way you express yourself. And again, I think because you know that when you know something that's like something that's not right, or maybe something that you think you could improve, just when you know that's already halfway of the journey, I believe, of improvements, for sure.
I would agree too. The self-diagnosis helps.
Yeah, you're in the right direction, because you come across a very confident person, I must say. Even like, my God, it's 24 years old. My goodness, I wouldn't, talking to you, I would never say, actually, I would never say that you're 24, never. Anyway, good one. It's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. I'm going to give away some words. Just tell me one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
Okay.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much, and enjoy the word association game. Family.
Love.
One word for money.
Scary.
How about love? One word.
Also scary.
And B. Life.
Happy.
Sex.
A lot.
Please. Politics.
Divisive.
Religion.
I'll just say it. Stupid. That's my association.
Okay. Fear.
Honestly, good.
Friendship.
Vital.
Desire.
Cloying.
Regret.
I don't know, buried. Try to bury those.
One word for success.
Confidence.
One word for happiness.
Struggle.
Wish.
Oh man, star.
Okay. One word for Chicago.
Looming.
One word for Boston.
Seaside.
USA, one word.
Oh God, dumpster.
And the last one now, industrial designer, one word.
Oh, pretentious.
Like that. Let's pretend now we're going to meet your friend. You said Jeff, the one who lives in Boston, the one who welcomed you, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm gonna meet Jeff now for a coffee, and I'm gonna ask him, what is the most beautiful thing about Adam, and what's something that he still needs to work on, to improve on? What he would say?
The thing to work on would be my confidence, because we've talked about this a lot, and he thinks I should be more confident than I am. So that's the thing to work on. What was the first part? Was
the most beautiful thing about you?
Man, I feel like he would probably say something like my happy spirit or something, or like my innocence or something like that. Like people often tell me that I'm like very, very bubbly and happy all the time, which I am. So I think probably that.
If I would ask the same question to your parents, it would be the same answer?
Probably. I feel like they probably would. Well, they would also probably say like my work ethic or something, just because I feel like I've pushed pretty hard to get where I am now, and I think they're very proud of me for that. So probably something more along the lines of that. I don't know. I don't think that they would have like a thing for me to improve on, to be honest, but yeah.
Let's wait and see when they watch the interview.
There you go.
Let's play now, Adam, and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. You can ask me a question now, Adam.
Sure. You mentioned before about how you think that you're more of like a shy person, or that you used to be. I wonder how did you get over that? Like how, because you also seem very confident to me. So how did you get to that stage with your confidence?
Good question, actually. I'll tell you something. It's interesting because people, they misunderstand about being very communicative, like talk to people, easy to lead a conversation, and also being shy. I think there is always people, they misunderstand that. All my closest friends, they go like, William, I would love to be shy like you, because they don't believe I'm shy. They think that's just because I'm so easy talking to people, I'm so easy to interact with people, you know, I come across a confident person. That's why when I was talking to you, I was like, no, I could see and understand your point as well. But I'm very shy, actually. I'm very shy. For example, I was in Portugal now, celebrate my birthday last weekend, and I was having a drink with my closest friends. I had friends from Europe, all of them, they came along. We were like 15 people, 10 different countries. And I spot this guy on the side. I was like, oh my God, look at that guy, how cute he is. And one of my friends from Austria, he was like, oh no, let's go there. I'm going to introduce to him. I said, no, please, no. I started shaking. I said, no, please. It's William, come on. I'm just going to introduce you to him. I said, no, please. I can't, you know? So that's when I see my shyness. And he was like, there's nothing. I'm just going to introduce you. I said, no, please. I even couldn't look to him. I was literally holding him like, please don't do that. I started getting nervous, you know? So it's, I think that being shy, you know, people, you just need to, in my opinion, the way I deal with is, I just try to break this, when I feel shy for some reason, I try to break that feeling. Or maybe, you know, making a compliment, or say something to break that feeling. For example, if I would be alone in that bar, and I would see this person there, maybe I would find a way to get there, but it would take me longer. And I don't know, make a compliment or say something. But if there is more people involved, or in this situation, I get very shy. I literally, if I would never, I would leave the bar. If they would come there to do something, I would have left the bar for a while just to get myself some fresh air. But back to your question, I think what I found, as I mentioned, I think I would just find a way to, actually what I'm doing now, for me, like interact with people, like talking to people for the very first time, it's a way of me of breaking this, or maybe improving about my way of being shy. But it's there, it's always going to be. But again, the older you get, you find ways of dealing with. And I think I don't see being shy as a negative thing, to be honest. I see being shy, or lack of confidence as well, in a way is very charming as well, because people like that. As you say, people, they see you very happy, like goofy, it's because of your lack of confidence. That's what makes you special, different, and unique. And I think sometimes being too confident, you push people away sometimes, or most of the time. So I think that, as you're saying, talking about lack of confidence or being shy, in a way, it's a charming way of, express yourself, or being yourself naturally, and people like that. I think people, they appreciate that as well. And when they spot it, they kind of try to comfort you, or maybe make you feel comfortable. And that's why, the beauty happens, and you kind of feel more confident or more comfortable with the situation. But yeah, lack of confidence or being shy, I don't feel as a negative thing. For us, it is sometimes, because we go like, it blocks us sometimes, or make us blush, or feel uncomfortable, or feel, different, or something like that. But in the end of the day, I think being yourself, or knowing, your strengths, of your weakness, it's a beautiful way of knowing, and people like and appreciate that, for sure.
Good insight. I would agree.
Do you consider yourself to be a shy person?
Yeah, I think, well, I've changed a lot over the past few years. I definitely think that I've come into myself more, but at least I used to be. And I still, when I try to talk to strangers, or somebody else talks to strangers around me, it's always very nerve-wracking and anxiety inducing. But I think that I've found enough strategies to cope with that, like kind of how you were mentioning. I think that I'm not as scared of it as I used to be. So yeah.
I see. I think when I break the ice, that's it. That's where I give myself, and that's why my friends go like, "You're not shy at all." I said, "Yes, I am." But until I step in, when I cross the line, it's a difference. Until I get there, oh my God, it's a long process in me, inside of me. It's like this long process happening. Adam, did you enjoy the interview?
Yeah, this was very fun. Thank you.
Thanks so much for taking the time. Thanks for being kind and sweet as well. It's amazing to see such a young guy, full of, energy, and wiser as well. As I said to you, I'll never say that for 24. My goodness, I think it's great. Before you go, if you can share a positive message, something that you live by.
Oh boy. I have a good one. This is also something that I've tried to internalize, like with the shyness and with social anxiety, all of that, is assume the best intentions from everyone and from every situation, because most of the time they have a good intention behind whatever they're doing, whatever they're saying. And so if you live with that, then you feel less stupid in conversations, you feel better in conversations, because if you think that everybody else is rooting for you to succeed, then it's easier for you to allow that to happen, instead of anticipating a bad reaction or some sort of negativity and then acting as if that will happen. So I think that that's really important to live like everything's going to go great. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And if it is a shitty person, they are a shitty person. But most of the time, they won't be. And then you'll have a much better and much less stress-filled existence, in my opinion.
For sure. Love that. Amazing. Adam, regards to your friends, to your family, and we keep in touch, okay? It was a pleasure connecting with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good luck with the rest of this.
Thanks so much and enjoy your weekend.
Subscribe. Everybody subscribe.
Yeah, just tap the button there which says subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much. Very sweet. Take care. Bye-bye, Adam. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.